Are you tired of me making so many videos on Z690 motherboards? Well, don't worry, because here's another one. I mean, after all, if they do help people decide which board to go for, looks like everyone's a winner. And the board we'll be discussing today is the ASUS Prime Z690-A, or basically just a step-up version of the Z690-P from ASUS we recently covered. So I recommend you check out that video as well, it's going to be up in the iCards. But yeah, the Z690-A is pretty much just a step up of that board in every single possible way. Starting with CPU power, with this thing being way more suited for powering something like a 12900K than the Z690P, because this thing has two 8 pins for the CPU plus 16 phases going directly to the CPU compared to the 8 plus 4 pin configuration and 14 power phases of the Z690P. This makes this board way better at handling something like a 12900K and will even give you tons of overclocking potential as well. Now let's move on to the PCIe Expansion, because here things get a bit more complicated when it comes to this board versus the Z690P, because while that board had 4 PCIe 16X connectors, this one has only 2, but tons of additional PCIe expansion instead. So while you have way less 16X slots in that board, you do have a configuration that does make more sense in most situations. Most people don't run 4 16X cards, and let's be honest, if you are running a smaller 1X card and 4X card, from a looks perspective, it definitely looks a lot better to have a 1X card in a 1X slot than a 1X card in a 16X slot. So yes, in theory, the configuration does make a lot more sense here, even if you do have less of those massive 16X slots. Plus, you also have 4 M.2 slots on here compared to the 3 on the Z690P, so that's also a nice added bonus for the few people out there rich and insane enough to buy that many M.2 drives. Anyway, moving on to the rear I/O, pretty much everything here is an improvement as well. Compared to the mere 5 USB Type-A ports available on the Z690P, here we have 6. That's still not the most in the world, but hey, at least audio USB here is at least USB 3.2. Plus you get 2 USB Type-C ports, one of which can go all the way up to 20 gigabits per second. Add to that both HDMI and DisplayPort for integrated graphics, and if that still isn't enough USB-C for you, well, there's also an internal header for USB-C and even an additional internal header for Thunderbolt 4. So all in all, it's a pretty decent board, right? But how much is it going to set you back? Well, it's going to cost you roughly $80 more than the Z690P. And additionally, it also matters what CPU you're running, because if you are going to run a 12900K, well, something like this board is a must, because the Z690P may be limiting your high-end CPU just a bit. Another thing to keep in mind is that this board, at least right now, is only available in DDR5, so that may also influence which board you go for. Also, at least right now, you can only get this board without Wi-Fi. There is no Wi-Fi variant listed anywhere on ASUS's website, so that's something else to look out for. So while it may be a bigger upfront investment compared to the ASUS Prime Z690P, you'll definitely come to appreciate all the additions of this board in the future. Anyway, if I convince you to buy this board, then make sure to use our Amazon associated links down in the video description below, also up in iCards. Because if you buy anything using those links, you don't pay anything extra while we get to the money, so hey, it's a win-win. If you want to help support the channel in other ways, we also do have a merch store and also a Patreon. And I'd also like to thank my existing patrons Gavin Burns, Ryan RKB, Max Sumner, Shane Allcroft, Lansby, and Coming Edge Clothing. Thank you guys so much, your support truly goes a long way. Down there you're also going to find our Discord server if you want to talk to me or Zadis or whatever else really. Plus down there's our social media links as well. But anyway, that's what it's. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then remember to subscribe, like, whatever, and I'll see you all in whatever I make next. Goodbye everyone. Goodbye.